Year 2020. I was going to start off the year with doing a stream to help you guys with character creation, character building. I really don't have any specific thing in mind other than to try to give you some a little bit more advanced tips. I've done a lot of videos already with just basic character builds. This one, I think I'm going to go through some other things other than just the character creation. So I'm going to start off with a few things. More than often, we use the standard array to create stats. So this time, I went ahead and built some stats based off some rolls. So what I was able to do is I took a command or a dice roll command and I rolled all these stats. Really nice. Unfortunately, I have to discard the lowest number. So this is a 4d6. And this is the number array I came up with, which is really nice. A couple 17s, a 16. So it's going to be a kind of an OP character. But I have all these numbers to show you that which I've rolled. So what I did is I placed a command in these shortcut keys. So I took the 6-sided dice, right-click on it, I selected 4, and then you just drop it on the hotkeys. So whenever you want to do a new roll, which I'll clear this out, I already recorded the numbers up here, you click on it, and that rolled a 15. And then you would discard the lowest, so in this case it's a 2, so that would be a 13. So that's how I came up with all these really high numbers, as I rolled very well. So this is how you would basically make like a little macro to roll more than one dice. The other thing I've done is kind of lightened up the background. If I go to the daytime lighting and I click on that, it kind of brightens up the interface, but it's kind of hard on my eyes. So I went and dulled it down a little bit. So instead of using the standard daytime, nighttime stuff, I went ahead and used a code, a lighting code. So what this is /lighting, and then there is a alphanumerical sequence of numbers. That's a beigeish color that I found online. So if you can find the RBG value or the hex code for the number, you can do the command /lighting space and then whatever the code is. So then you take this and you drag it down to your hotkeys and it becomes a command. So now when I click on it, it'll instantly change the color of my background. So I did that to kind of lighten the interface for my eyes so I don't get a headache. The other thing I'm going to do is load some materials or make sure that I have the right things loaded. So here I have a bunch of Rob2E effects coding. I have all the basic source books and the additional source books, including some additional stuff in case I make a cleric or something of that nature. And then I have all of these different effects modules in case I need to use those for character building. I can also show you guys some really basic stuff. If you don't have conditions and effects already, I recommend that. And the reason why is this covers all the effects that a lot of the NPCs should have, or they're not included. So for instance, it's up here where this little running man is. You click on this, these are all the basic conditions, and then Rob2E has made all of the, as much as he can in this format so that you can use them for your NPCs. So if your NPC has an immunity, you can actually drag that over and just edit whatever the immunity is from or to. So these are already pre-made effects. A lot of these mirror some of the character effects, but they're not always those. But you have a lot of things on here, like trip attack has a damage of 1d8. Well, if you have a, like a battle master, and he has a trip attack, you'll have that effect ready to go. So NPCs are not as normally detailed as characters. So if you don't have something that's on your NPC you can use these to help supplement that so that you do have the correct effects, or at least most of them, so that you can also apply them in the combat tracker. So these other things like exhaustion, those aren't automatically coded, but these are here so that you can keep notes and, you know, keep track of what's happening with your character when they're suffering from exhaustion. So there's all kinds of different coding effects that are not necessarily for characters, but you can use them for NPCs, or you can apply them to characters from an attack or a benefit from an NPC. So that again is called the 5E conditions and effects. The other ones are broken down into characters, so you have spells, racial, feats, and classes. So there's 4 there. And then Rob 2E has made this 5E trinkets table so that you can get the trinkets for your characters if you allow those, or if you make a character and you want a few trinkets. Those weren't included with the player's handbook. They're listed, but they weren't included. You'd have to make the items yourself. Also, the 5e background and class equipment bundles, that makes it to where it's easier to drag over your equipment when you're starting off. So that is a very, very handy and easy thing to use. It is a parcel, and basically that's all the background equipment, or most of it, and then the class equipment as well, and most of that. So we took the A list from each one of the starting equipment for all the different classes and put those in there. So once you drag it over, you can change it out a little bit, but for the most part, these are all done. So this makes it much easier to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and close the parcels. So these are some helpful things to help you build characters that make life easier for you. I also have the new extension that Rob Toohey has built. That's the spell. Some people call it the spell drag, but it's actually an extension that allows you to drag all of the spells over to your character sheet. That comes in handy when you're playing a cleric or a druid. Instead of hand doing everything one at a time, it really speeds that process up. So I might build something that would accommodate that would make sense. So here I have all these different books loaded. I have the Elemental Evil Player's Guide. I have Volo's, Xanathar's, Mordenkainen's. I have the new Eberron book. I have the Player's Handbook, Sword Coast Adventures Guide, and the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. In addition, I have Faiths of Forgotten Realms, which is a DM's Guild product, and Mordenkainen's Lost Notebook. So there are other books like this that help you create characters. This one has NPCs in it, so I don't think I would need this one. However, if I wanted to test something, it does have a beholder, so I could use that for some sort of practice. So anyhow, that is what I have loaded. So again, these are the actual core rule books, and then a few supplemental ones, and then of course Rob 2E's coding effects. So these are the basically the material I'm using. If you only have the player's handbook, or maybe just a couple of sources, most of this information is still applicable. So anyhow, I'm going to start building a character. So I am wondering if any of you would like to specify a type of character you would like built, maybe something special. I don't know. Maybe you have something you want to build and you're not sure about. So give me a build or some sort of, a way to help you create something, or give you some ideas as to build a character. I'm pretty open to whatever. I do have Rob 2E's new module where you can make monstrous races. I haven't tested that out yet, but I'm hoping to at some point. But as far as building characters, there's some things I wanted to go through. Most of you already know the process, so I will start that for right now. I'm going to plug in my stats that I rolled earlier. So like I said, I rolled the 4d6. I used the command. And then I would just take off the lowest number. So those are pretty good rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. So all of these are really good rolls. So this would be a 13. This would be a 16. This would be a 17. This would be a 15. This would be 14. And this would be 13. So let me do that. So I have, let's see, 13. So I'm just dropping the lowest roll. I have a 14. I have, let's see, a 15. I also have an 18. So that 18 becomes a 17. This 19, unfortunately, is going to have to be a 16. And this 14 will be a 13. So this is how I roll stats if I was going to roll for them. Or I would just use a standard array, which is a more balanced approach. But this is a really good set of numbers. I'm going to use the second set. Even though it has, this top one has more 17s in there. I kind of like this one's a lot more balanced. And also it's, you know, there's a lot of good numbers in here. So I'm going to pull up a character sheet. I already have all my books loaded in the library. I'm going to go to characters. And I am going to click the plus button. And that brings up a blank character sheet. So I'm going to also grab some artwork depending on which type of character I'm going to build. So I think I'm going to go through my portraits. And maybe since no one really volunteered anything, I think I might go to my collected folder here. And I think I want to grab maybe a Yuan Ti sorceress or maybe an assassin type. So I can rebuild Darfa or Namita. They're both assassins. There's also a Drow rogue here that I could build. Tabaxi rogue. I have a Caddy Bree character I could build that's modeled after the classic Forgotten Realms. And, oh, here's a War Wizard Minotaur. That's kind of cool. And then we have this Wood Elf Druidess, Zayla Trusong. There's two different photos for her. Here's the Snake Yuan Ti guy. Yeah, maybe I'll make a Yuan Ti sorcerer. That's kind of fun. Kenku Minotaur. So, should we do the Minotaur or the Kenku? I don't know yet. So, I'm going to roll. 1 to 3, it's the Kenku. 3 to 4, it's the Minotaur. Let's do it. Minotaur it is. So I'm going to make this War Wizard Minotaur. So this is his icon or his, his portrait. And I'm going to plug in all these stats up here. So where do I want to put the 13? I'm not going to worry about that just yet, but I'm definitely going to put a 17 in intelligence. I'm going to put a fairly high number in constitution. I'm going to put a decently number in strength. So maybe a 14 or a 15. Probably 14. Let's see. Charisma, I am going to go with probably 13. Wisdom, probably a 13. So 13 are gone. So I haven't used the 15 yet. So I'll put that in Dex. So this is a really overpowered kind of character, but that's what I rolled. That's what I'm going to go with. Mushakalaka? Is that his name? I'll call him Moo Shakalaka the Minotaur. There we go. Moo Shakalaka. Okay, so that's the first thing you always do is do your stats first. Now I'm going to do the background. So he kind of has a kind of a different background than most standard characters. So I'm going to load a couple other books in my library. And this also is where the Minotaur archetype would be. But let me take a look. So I'm going to go to modules. I know it resides in South End Heroes. Yeah, Southland Heroes has a Minotaur. And I know that I just put in the monstrous races. So I loaded that. That should give me some more options in case I don't see anything. I'm going to load the monster manual just in case I want to do a little test. Got to have some monsters to beat up. Okay. So that takes care of that. I'm going to start looking at the background now. So let's see what we have for options. Blue Shakalaka. Okay, so here we go. So backgrounds. Let's see. What do we want to choose for character background? So let me change this to create PC so that way I don't get so confused. Okay, so I have all these options. Let's see, there's an orphan. That might work. Sweely Traveler, that might work. Let's see. Temple Slave, not so much. An Emissary, that makes sense. You get Persuasion. You get to pick any two. You get Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion. So a War Wizard Emissary doesn't quite sound right, but I might use that. Let's see. A Acolyte is too cliche. Child of the Divine, maybe. Let's see. Desert Runner, no. Emerald Enclave, no. Emissary is probably, or Far Traveler. Far Traveler would work. That's another thing I'd probably use. The Noble, maybe. Pirate, Sage, Outlander, Soldier, Spy, nah. Urban Bounty Hunter, maybe. Okay, so I think these two make the most sense. So what do you think, an Emissary or a Far Traveler? Mercenary, Veteran, Sailor, Pirate. Mercenary Veteran might work too. Yeah, because he's basically a war wizard, so it does make sense. So let me see. Mercenary Soldier? Mercenary Veteran. Okay, I can deal with that. So he's a sellsword. And let's see. He gets Athletics and Persuasion. One type of gaming set and vehicles land. So that inspires me to maybe say that he rides a chariot, which would be really cool. I don't see too many people messing around with chariots. So that would be kind of cool. Mercenary Life. He knows the military stuff. You can find taverns, fest halls where mercenaries hang out. As long as you speak their language, you can find mercenary work between adventures enough to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. That's not bad. I think I like it. So good suggestion. Mercenary Veteran. It is. So it added 2 skills, which I will note mentally. So I got Athletics and Persuasion. So I don't need that. And they're based on Charisma, so that's not too bad with the 13. And Athletics is based on Strength, so that it'll be decent. And then I also get one type of gaming set. I can see him playing dice or cards or chess, so we'll have to see. He gets a uniform, yep, insignia of his rank, gaming set, and a pouch containing the remainder of your last wages. Okay, so in my inventory, I will make sure I put 10 gold. I'm just going to give him the soldier starting gear for backstory equipment. That'll pretty much be the same as the other backstories. All right, so I'm going to actually put this down here. That way I don't have to look for it again. And now I need to pick his race. So this is the third step. So I'm going to go to races. And whoa, there's a whole bunch in here. Let me see if I can find the Minotaur. Yeah, I got to go to the next page. Minotaur. Okay, so there's a monstrosity and there's a Southland Heroes. So I think I'm going to try the Minotaur character from the monstrous races. So he gets, oh yeah, strength increase. That's pretty cool. Yep, Minotaur it is. So Moo Shakalaka. You got dark vision. You got a creature type added to him, a monstrosity. His base speed is 30. He's got horns, so that's one of his traits. I'll have to code that later because he can charge you. And then he has Labyrinth Recall, Monster of the Labyrinth. So his strength, con, or wisdom and score increases by 1. So I need to take a look at that. I don't think it added that to the... It added strength, but then I have to go and put in manually which one of the other two I want to raise up. So that was... You get strength, con, or wisdom. I think I might give him wisdom. Yeah, I'm going to give him wisdom. Because he's got a pretty good strength, and his con is decent. And he already got a +1 on his strength bonus. So I added 1 to his wisdom, and I'm going to notate it here. So that way we know what he was granted. And then he has natural armor. So his AC is 13 plus the Dex modifier. So it's already been adjusted in here. So that's cool. So that's the racial adjustments. So he doesn't really have to wear that much armor. Matter of fact, probably none, being that he's a spellcaster. So that's pretty cool. All right, so the next step is I'm going to pick his class and level. So I guess I'm going to have to pick a wizard, and then when I get to level whatever it takes, probably level 1, it will ask me what type of wizard. So I'm going to go ahead and get classes. And let's see. Go with wizard. It's asking me for 3 skill. So at this point, you don't close anything, leave this open. I'm going to the skills tab. So I have athletics and persuasion. So I definitely want arcana and maybe history. And that should do it. So that helps with that. Okay, and I'm going to level him up. So I see all the stats are in there. His dex is fixed. AC is normal. It's already dealt with. So that works. All right, so now I'm going to level him up to level 2. And now it wants this specialization at level 2. So War Magic is what we chose. And that gives him some other stuff here. So it gives him War Magic, Tactical Wit. He gets Arcane Reflection and Arcane Tradition, Mercenary Life. So it's pretty cool. So he's shaping up really good. He's gonna be a badass character. Now I'm gonna go to level 3. So that is 3rd level, which just gives him more spells and hit points. At this point, should I leave him at level 3 or should I take him up to 4th level? 4th level will give him a couple more traits and it will give him a chance to choose a feat or an ability score increase. I don't think he needs an ability score increase. Most cases I would say, yeah, let's do the ability scores. But being that his stats are decent already, I don't need 2 more discretionary points. I mean, I can always use them. I'd probably put 1 on Dex and maybe 1 in Intelligence or something like that. But I can also pick a feat. So feats would give him the Warcaster potential. And the Warcaster fits his archetype. So he has advantage on con saves. And that gives him a better concentration when he takes damage. You can perform somatic components of spells even when you have weapons or shield in one or both hands. That makes sense. And when a hostile creature's movement provokes an opportunity attack from you, you can use your reaction to cast a spell at the creature, rather than making the opportunity attack. The spell must have a casting time of 1 action or less and must target only that creature. So that is a really powerful feat. So I think Warcaster would be the way I'd go instead of bumping up his ability scores. Ability scores help over time. The Warcaster is like immediate. So I think I'm going to bump him up to level 4. And instead of taking the 2 discretionary ability score points, I'm going to take the Warcaster feat. I think that's really in line with this character. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this over. And now he's level 4. So he has some pretty good stuff already. And his ability score improvement, I'm just going to put feat. So I just notated what I gave him instead of the stats adjustments. And he already got one down here anyway, so I think he's good to go. So his XP is 2,700. Next level is 5,600, I believe. And that's that. Now the Warcaster, I'm going to put up here. And that puts the Warcaster information in the feats. So that's that. So that's shaping up pretty good. So if you do all those in that specific order, the character should turn out correctly. So I did the ability scores, background, race, and then class. And then I just leveled them up from here just by dragging this little pin over a few times. So he's a full caster, and he's able to use weapons and such, so that's really cool. So I'd probably give him a quarterstaff so he can kick ass with that, because he's got a pretty good strength. We'll see. So those are his abilities. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 ability or skills. And then he has all these different abilities, which we're going to look at. So Arcane Deflection, Arcane Recovery. Arcane Tradition just says that his tradition can be any of these, and then War Magic is one of them. So his Arcane Tradition, in this case, is War Magic. I just put a note there. Mercenary Life, this is more of a roleplay thing. So I'll use that to help shape his background and his downtime. activities like practicing, that sort of thing. Arcane tradition, spell casting, that just talks about his spells. Tactical wit, at second level he has you can gain yourself a bonus to your initiative rolls equal to your intelligence modifier. So that will definitely help. War magic, this gives you the ideas of which stuff you get for your for that particular build. So that's what this was. Arcane Tradition notates that, but the War Magic actually talks about it more in depth. And you can see there's an image of a War Wizard here. It's kind of cool. So Arcane Deflection, Tactical Wit, Power Surge doesn't come till 6th level. So we won't worry about that. He has Charge. So once per turn, if he moves at least 15 feet towards a creature and hit it with a strength-based melee weapon, the target will take an extra d6. This damage increases at 5th level, and so on and so forth. So that is a racial thing. Creature type is Monstrosity. Horns is also like a unarmed strike. So it says your unarmed strike deals 1d6 piercing on a hit, or 1d10 damage on a hit when you use your charge ability, which you can use once per turn. So you can charge with the horns or the weapon. That's pretty cool. Labyrinth Recall gives you the ability to travel the path that you've already taken. So that's more of a roleplay thing, but it's really cool. Monsters of the Labyrinth, we've already dealt with that. We manually gave him a +1 on Wisdom, and I notated that here. Natural Armor is already calculated in. So again, that's back here. He has a base of 13 plus his Dexterity modifier, so that's where that comes from. So he really doesn't need any armor. If he did, it might be leather, but I don't think wizards really wear too much armor. So we'll see. So that would be that. And he has the Warcaster feat. So he's pretty much a kick-ass character. This is almost overpowered in a way. But we'll have to see what happens. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue building. And all these little things off to the side are just like memory things so that I don't forget. And also, you want to read all these things. You don't want to just skip over them. Because this is where all your juicy, tactical stuff and all your special abilities. And these roleplay ones, you need to get with your DM and talk to him about this and see if you can work these in. Because these features that come from your background and some of your professions, they get quite often passed up, looked over. A lot of people don't use them. So I would really talk to your DM about that. Let's go to inventory. So I'm going to go with they're called parcels. So I just added that option here. And for background equipment, I don't have one made specifically for the mercenary, I don't think. Let me see. Yeah, we do. So here's the mercenary. So you get the insignia rank, a pouch, and a uniform. And then your gold. And then I'm going to give him the starting equipment for a wizard. So that is all his materials that he gets. Now, being that he's 4th level, I might switch a few things out. But right now, he has this little backpack, which I got rid of the title here. And I'm going to put that bag of sand in a pouch, I think. Actually, I'll just put that in the backpack. The book can be anything. Maybe it's a book of tactics. So I might look into, actually, it says it might contain poetry, historical accounts, information about some kind of lore. And it's worth 25 gold. So what I might actually do is go out on the internet and find some actual information and paste it in here. So that gives that book more value, and it's not just a notation. So I'm going to put tactical. Maybe I'll find something online. So that's going in the backpack. The component pouch is just going to go into the pouch. So a pouch within a pouch. So he doesn't wear his insignia rank, so he has that stored away. He has a small knife, like a paring knife for pencils and stuff. So there's his quarterstaff. I put his spell book in the backpack. And he might wear his mercenary uniform. I don't know. And he has some paper to write on. I'm going to give him a couple potions and maybe a dagger or something he can throw or use as a melee weapon. Maybe some darts. I don't know yet. So let's go to items. So he needs something he can either throw. I don't think he uses throwing knives, so probably a sling, something like that. I don't know. His Journal of Conquest. Yeah, that would be cool. Extra cowhide. Yeah, Journal of Conquest. That could very well be. He has extra paper too, so. So let me see. Let's give him a couple trinkets. Here's the trinkets table here. This is the one you roll 1d100. So I'm going to give him a tiny cage with no door, a small weightless stone block, a silver skull the size of a coin. That's cool. I'm going to put it in his pouch. And I'm going to give it a, quarter pound of weight. Or 1/10. Pair of old socks. Yeah. A needle that never bends. I like it. All your items should have a weight, even if it's fractional. Okay, so he has his quarterstaff. Now I'm going to unfilter this. So he has a couple weird little random items. Should have a dagger. I don't care who you are. Everyone needs some kind of knife to protect themselves. So he's going to have one dagger, and he has the quarterstaff. And now I'm going to give him a sling or... Okay, so here's a sling. And here are some bullets. And some potions. I'm going to give him one healing potion, just for the heck of it. So it's one healing potion, which isn't too bad. It's not too crazy. And I'm going to put that in the backpack. He has a dagger, sling. The sling bullets are going into a pouch. Now this sling should have some weight. So I just put a quarter of a pound here. Probably not even that. Maybe a tenth. Okay, so he's not carrying too much. He has quite a bit of carrying capacity still, which is good. So he has a dagger, a sling, and a quarterstaff. Nothing too fancy. Although, being that he's 4th level and magic, I'm going to roll to see if he has a magical weapon. So it's not going to be very common, but it's not unheard of for him. So I'm going to roll a percentile, and if he rolls a 33% and below, I am going to award him with 1 + 1 item or something minor. 46, so no magic items for him. He's already pretty powerful, so he doesn't really need one. Plus, he has a potion. He's good. He can charge, yeah. So make sure his ranged weapon goes further than that. Yeah, I agree. His sling would definitely go further than that. All right, so let's see. So everything's organized now. They are in containers or where they're going to be. Now I'm going to go to notes. So he's definitely male of some sort. I don't know how long they live, but he probably looks like he's about 30. He's probably like 6'2", 6'3". Probably weighs about 245 pounds. Pretty beefy. Lawful neutral. Don't know his deity is going to be yet. Probably something Greek or, war related, obviously. Personality traits, bonds, and flaws. Okay. So he's got the mercenary thing going on. So I am going to go ahead and do these. I'm always polite and respectful. I'm haunted by memories of war. I can't get the images of violence out of my mind. That might be a thing. I've lost too many friends and I'm slow to make new ones. I definitely think that's him. So he's got some battle rattle. I'm full of inspiring cautionary tales. Nah. I can stare down a hellhound without flinching. Maybe. I enjoy being strong and like breaking things. Not unnecessarily, anyways. Crude sense of humor and faces problems head on. Literally. A simple, direct solution is the best path. I can see him doing that because he's lawful neutral, but I honestly like the haunted war memories. So those are his personality traits. So he's a soldier, but he's got issues. So he's like a Vietnam vet. He's got his issues. And let's see. Veteran detail. The greater good. Responsibility is probably his thing. Independence, not so much. Might. In life, as in war, the stronger force wins. Live and let live. Ideals aren't worth killing over or going to war over. Nation. My city, nation, or people are all that matter. So I think he's a more responsible type. So that's his ideal. Bonds. I would lay down my life for the people I served with. I can see him doing that. Someone saved my life on the battlefield. To this day, I will never leave a friend behind. Maybe. My honor is my life. That's probably him. He's kind of got that Marine type mentality. Those who fight beside me are those worth dying for. Definitely. And I fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Yeah, I think I got his honor is his life, like Semper. Those who fight beside me are those worth dying for. So that's a really cool bond. And flaws. The monstrous enemy we faced in battle still leaves me quivering with fear. I don't see that. I have little respect for anyone who is not a proven warrior. Maybe. I made a terrible mistake in battle that cost many lives, and I would do anything to keep that mistake a secret. That's a potential. I like that. My hatred enemies are blind. Or my hatred of my enemies is blind and unreasoning. That could be. I obey the law even if the law causes misery. I can see him doing that. I'd rather eat my armor than admit that I'm wrong. Very headstrong. I would think he doesn't have a lot of respect for someone who's not proven. His hatred of his enemies make him blind. And he made this terrible mistake. So he's living with guilt. So this is something left over from the war. So living with guilt, if you guys have never lived with guilt, it is very, very taxing. So he's got a lot of mental issues. Okay. So that is his background. Now, this Labyrinth Recall, I'm going to make this a note. It says, I can perfectly recall any path I can perfectly recall any path that I've traveled before. So that's just a note. Mercenary life, that's more of a roleplay thing. I have to think about that. However, when it does come up in roleplay, you'd have to talk to your DM. Okay, so now we're at the Actions tab. So I have a extension, and it's called I think it's called like the second-handedness or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it will give you the option to change if you want to use it one-handed or two-handed without having to create a second entry. That's why I added that. So I'm going to put the ammo here. And in case he throws the dagger, there's that ammo. So that is that. Now I'm going to add this charge and horns. So this is where a lot of people get kind of confused on the character sheet. So I'm going to do the spells last because that's an actual normal function of Fantasy Grounds. So I'll pick his spells last. But if I do pick any weapon handling extension, thank you, Drake. Yeah, that makes it really, really easy to have that. So let's see. Horns, I'm going to add that and charge. So let me put that on his racial traits. So add a new section. So I went to the edit button. I'm going to add power. And let's see. We're going to call this racial traits. And I'm just going to drag these over here because these will set up the entry. I might have to modify them, but at least it gives me a starting point. So see, it already sets the damage up somewhat. And then the horns. So, if you drag these over and they are worded correctly, this will partially set up the effects. So now the charge is already set up. And the piercing damage and or the charge plus piercing damage. So there's two forms of damage here. One's for charging and one's for piercing. So this one would have to be determined by the horn, so that's going to also be piercing. So this is honestly your horns. And then this one is, I think they just guessed. Yeah, that's just for a regular charge. So let me reread the description. So for charge, you're just getting an additional d6 added to you regardless. And at 5th level, you get 2d6. So all that does is just adds an effect that gives you an additional d6 damage if you're charging with a melee weapon. So it's 15 feet as a note here. And it has to be a strength-based melee attack, so it can't be dexterity-based. So that's that. And then this other one, the charge itself, the horns, it says you do 1d6, or if you're using this charge attack, you're going to do a d10. So that's what that is. So if you use it in conjunction with that, then you would use the secondary damage. So now I have them in the correct section. So that takes care of that. So this one is set to self. So if I click on the button for it, this will add that effect, and then it expires on the next roll. So it depends on how many attacks you're making and that sort of thing. But once per turn, you can do that. So you wouldn't put it back on until you had another turn. So that might be a good way to start an attack if you have the room for it. All right, so next is the wizard stuff. So I'm going to click on the star again. So these are class features. I am going to go over to the spells area. And I'm going to pick the 5e effects coding spells. So I'm going to use Rob 2e's thing. Actually, class features. I'll do the spells later. And then I'm going to look for the wizard stuff. Okay, here we go. So here's Tactical Wit, which he gets. I'll close that. Drag this up here. Arcane Recovery. He gets that. So after a long rest, he can recover. The ability recovers after a long rest, but he can use this after a short rest to recover some of his low-level spells. That's cool. And then Arcane Deflection, which is a reaction. So there we go. So that is his wizard features. Retitle it. Arcane War Wizard. And they're based on intelligence. So there we go. So that takes care of his class features, his racial traits. Now I'm going to add just the standard actions, which you should do. It really helps your DM. So again, I'm going to add another section. Class features. Whoops. Standard actions. Excuse me. And I'm going to drag all 4 of those down there. So those are ready to go. The character's shaping up pretty good. Yeah, he's got all this stuff ready to go, so that's cool. All right, so that is that. Now I can go to the feats, and he gets Warcaster. So I'm just going to put that in his wizard area. So he gets advantage on concentration checks. So this thing I would definitely put on here for his concentration. So that's a good thing to have. And then it also has all the other notes for it. So he can actually use his weapon attack, and that would be his, he can have his staff in his hand, which is cool. So that's cool there. He probably can only use it one-handed, but at least he can use a weapon while he's casting. So that's pretty cool. All right, so that's that. Let's see. So that's his feat. Got his racial traits figured out. And now spells. So he's a war wizard. So, let's see. We're going to make up a spell book now. So I don't have to make a new section. It'll do it automatically. So I'm just going to drag his spells over here. But before I do that, I'm going to go to his class. And I've already done Arcane Reflection, so that's done. So his class information is here in the class and level. So you should make a bookmark of this. I should have done this in the beginning and put it in the hotkeys. That way when you're building, you don't have to come all the way back here. So now what I'm going to do is take a look at this table, which is about halfway down the list. So he's 4th level, so he gets 4 cantrips. So I'm going to filter this list. It's already on 5e spell effects coding. I'm going to go to 0, which is cantrips, and then change the source to wizard. There we go. Now what we're going to do is pick his cantrip. So he's a war wizard. So what is Booming Blade? Huh. Not really into that. It's kind of cool, but let's see. Acid Splash, 1d6. Yeah, not quite what I want. Firebolt. Definitely would like that. Shocking Grasp. Yeah, I like that. Shocking Grasp is a good one. I'm gonna definitely do Mending or Mage Hand. Probably Mage Hand for a utility spell. And Thunderclap, maybe. Let's see. Blade Ward. Yeah. I think Blade Ward would be cool. This is more of a defensive spell. So he's got 2 offensive spells with different damage types. And then he has a utility spell and a kind of a protective spell. So that's pretty good for cantrips. You can cast those any day, all day, whatever. So now I need to build a spell book. So it tells you here on how many spells you can have per level. But for slots, he gets 4 and 3. So that's already determined. His spells are based off of intelligence. It just gives you the starting equipment, where the saving throws are. So now, I don't think you can have more than X amount of spells per level. So it's usually your level plus your modifier. So he is 4th level, and his intelligence modifier is 2. So normally for each level, you can't have more than, in his case, it would be 6. So a spell book can only have up to 6 per level. So I'm going to go ahead and build a spell book. So I'm going to give him room to breathe, so I won't add all of them, like all 12. I'm going to do some first and some second level spells, but I'm going to leave it one shy of filling the book. That way, if someone plays the character, they can use this character and have some flexibility if they want to scribe their own spell or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and build a spell book now. So right now he has all his features except for the spells. And I'm going to go to first level. And I'm going to look at this. Definitely want shield. And I want to see if he has any bonus spells first. So war magic. Make sure there's no bonus or anything. Usually evocation and abjuration. So those are usually what he's into. So I'm going to do, let's see, Burning Hands is a cool one. I'm going to do Shield, which makes sense. Let's see. Thunderwave. And he can have up to 3 more of those. So probably Chromatic Spray. Maybe. Fog Cloud. Yeah, that's good for messing with spellcasters and, people need to see. So that gets rid of, there's 4. Definitely like Grease. That's one of my all-time favorite spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to give him 1 more. So Mage Armor. So that takes care of that. So Mage Armor. Yep. Now, second level. I'm going to give him 5 spells that he can choose from his spell book. So his spell book's pretty filled for first and second level. So let's see. I want to give him, what's the Scorcher? Agonizer Scorcher might be cool. Alter Self, Arcane Lock. Deafness or Blindness might be good. Continual Flame, Cloud of Daggers. Hold Person. Levitate. Magic Weapon. Yeah, I'm going to give him Magic Weapon. Since he doesn't have one. Let's see. Web is a really nasty one. So he has that. Crown of Madness? Nah. Not his style. Darkness might work. So I'm going to give him the Scorcher spell. That's really nasty. And let's see. Shatter is a good one. So there's 4. Ray of Enfeeblement. Actually, that's really helpful. A black beam of energy springs from your finger toward a target. Make ranged spell attacks against the target. On a hit, the target deals only half damage with the weapons and use strength until the spell ends. Huh. Maybe. Maximilian's Earthen Grasp. Magic Mouth. Locate object. Invisibility. I don't see him running like that. Hold person might be a thing. Yeah. Hold person is good. Enlarge and reduce. Dragon's Breath. Detect thoughts. So I was going to think either darkness or flaming sphere. I kind of already have something like that. Don't really need that. Melf's acid arrow, no. Mirror image is kind of interesting. Misty step, eh. Missiles, magic aura, phantasmal force, ray of enfeeblement, rope trick, scorching ray. You know, I'm gonna have to say, I think darkness is a good kind of a, but he has fog clouds that kind of work similarly. Decisions. Hold person. That'll give him some ability to paralyze people. It's more of like battlefield control, that sort of stuff. So that's his spell book. Now, I need to go and put down what he has per day. So I'm going to go to preparation. I'm going to prepare 4 spells and 2. So I'm going to go to Fog Cloud, Grease, Mage Armor, and probably Thunder Wave or Burning Hands. I'm going to go with Agonizer Scorcher. I'm going to go with Hold Person and probably Shatter. So those are his memorized spells. Then when you go to the combat and actions, it'll show his spells that he has memorized here with these little stars. And then you have the standard action. You have these horns up here. I think he's good to go. So once per day when you finish short rest. Okay. So it doesn't change until he gets up to 6th level. Let's see. If you're a 4th level caster, you cover up to 2 levels worth of spell slots. So you can recover either 2nd level spell slot or 2 1st level spell slots. So that's cool for recovery. He has his sling here. Dagger, yep. So he looks pretty good. So this is this guy. And he has a quarterstaff if he needs to fight. And if he does fight, he's not too much of a weenie. And he also has the spell that he can imbue the quarterstaff with a magical property. So that makes sense. And being a warcaster, he's going to be very hard to, get rid of his spell. So now I want to test him out. So I'm going to put him on the combat tracker. Let me see if I have a token. So I have this regular portrait. Minotaur male fighter. Minotaur slasher. Yeah, I'll just use this fighter one. That's pretty cool. So there he is on the combat tracker. Just a few token folders there. Yeah, I have a ton of them. I don't I generally don't load most of those, but all right. So that is a Minotaur fighter, or excuse me, a war magic, but he's almost like a fighter magic user with his warcaster ability and the fact that he's so buff and stout. He would be a really tough component to take down. So now I'm gonna actually whoop on something. I'd like you guys to pick a creature. This guy's a 4th level wizard, so I'd like you to pick a creature or some kind of maybe a couple goblins or I don't know something to so he can thump on. But I don't want him too easily taken down. I want to test some of his skills out. So I'm gonna pull up a battle map, and you guys think of an opponent for him. And I don't want it too weak. Maybe hobgoblins instead of goblins. I don't know. But I'm gonna put up a map. See, I'm gonna go to library, go to modules. So, meanders, let's see. I like the Fail Land, the Deadlights, the Rise Falls. Okay. So these are more like temple-like things, so not that one. There we go. So here's like a underground maze, which kind of fits in with him. Oh, here's a portal. Let's take a look at that. I like it. So he's going to be exploring this ancient portal. And I'm going to be on this actions tab, so he's ready to go. Just kind of resize this a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put him over here in the starting location. The map is already gridded, so I don't have to worry about that. So he's ready to go. He's ready to kick some ass. So Lamia, an Etten, an ape, pissed off ape. Etten, hill giant, troll, or Otia. I like the Etten thing, or a hill giant. Yeah, let's see him take out a hill giant, or an Etten. So I'm just going to bring a hill giant out. So let's see. So NPC, I'm going to go with the hill giant. There we go. Yep, nasty old hill giant. And again, I do not like the tokens. So yeah, something like these. There's a half giant barbarian. There's a red death giant. Half giant. Yeah, these would work. I'm going to use this guy right here. There we go. Oops. Okay. All right. So there is the hill giant. So I'm going to say he's guarding this. And he's not invisible. He's very visible. Can't really hide too well in here. But this is his temporary lair that he's taken residence in. And he's also has this notion that he's supposed to protect it. So this is a big hill giant that's kind of like, this is his little base here. And this war wizard's doing some research, and he wants to use this magical portal. But this guy is kind of stopping his way. Maybe this is his way back home or something. He could be lost. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to roll initiative for both of them. Right now, it already has a 14. It has 105 hit points. And this guy only has 30. So hopefully we can help him out here. So let's see. He has Warcaster, so that should go on ahead of time. Second level, you can assess. You can give yourself a bonus to your initiative rolls equal to your intelligence modifier. So let me see. Yep. So I'm going to apply that. So he gets an initiative of +3 because of his intelligence modifier. So that would be that. So those are his initial abilities. Okay. So I'm going to go to menu, initiative. I'm going to roll all initiative. All right. So Moon Shakalaka gets to go first. So this guy is roughly 75 feet away. So I think initially he should probably do a ranged spell attack. So maybe it depends. Maybe he should do a protective spell like Mage Armor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Get that out of the way. So his first action, he casts Mage Armor on himself. And basically, he is going to stay put because he doesn't want to, rush right into this guy yet. And he has 15 feet worth of space. So if this guy comes down the stairs, he'll charge into him. So that's his turn, basically. He's taunting the hill giant now. So that's basically his turn. So he's jumping up and down and trying to get his attention. So the hill giant sees this. And I'm going to make an intelligence check. And if he gets the bait, he'll just come down the stairs and try to attack him with his great club. Or he might pick up a rock that's nearby and huck it at him. So he's not entirely stupid, but we'll see what he does. So if he rolls, let's see, if he rolls a 12 or higher, he knows better not to run down towards him. So he'll throw a rock instead. So let's see, intelligence. He only has a 5 intelligence, so it's going to be tough for him to beat that check. So he has to beat a 12 or higher. So he's got a 5. So he is stupid enough to go down there. So he moves his movement rate, which is 40 feet. So I'm going to right-click on the token and lock it. That way he can't go any further. Unless, he can't go beyond his movement rate. So I'm going to move him down here. So he moves forward. He's taking the bait, and he's kind of menacingly, yelling and stuff and threatening him. So now it is Moon Shakalaka's turn. So now Moon Shakalaka is looking at this hill giant. Kind of he's kind of shitting bricks because he knows this guy is badass. So I'm going to go ahead and check off his first level spell slot. He already used 1. And I think he's going to start off, probably do a charge or maybe, nah, charge is too crazy. I'm going to do a grease spell. So that'll slow this guy down. So the grease is a 10-foot square centered on a point within range. So what I'm going to do is center a grease thing right at the bottom of the stairs. So I'm going to right click on the map, click pointers, click draw square. And I'm going to center that baby right here. Right there. Right in front of him. So that's his grease spell. And I need to check off another, let's see, that's a second level. Or is it? No, it's first. Okay, so he's used 2 spell slots already. So he's trying to slow this guy down. And he moves back like 5 feet to the side. He doesn't want to just stand right out in the open. And if he needs to, he'll use these rocks over here as cover. So we'll see what happens. So that's his turn. He's going to kind of move to the side so that he's not straight in the way. And he can use these rocks to kind of put them in between him and the giant. So that's his turn. So he's no idiot, hopefully. So let's see. Now it's the giant's turn. So the giant moves down. So he hits that grease. And let me see what it says here. Each creature standing in it must make a successful dexterity saving throw or fall prone. Creature that enters the area or ends its turn there must also succeed on a saving throw or fall prone. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to force the cast on it. He succeeded. So he went right through the grease. And he has enough space to attack. So now he's going to devastate this guy. Uh-oh. So this guy gets a multi-attack. He can make 2 great club attacks. So we'll see what happens. Wow, +8 on damage. Yeah, that's going to hurt. So he takes a mighty swing, and it just comes raining down with this huge great club. And Moon Shakalaka is injured. That really pummeled him pretty hard. And now for the second one, he surprisingly, very expediently recovers from that swing and swings back the other way and tries to hit Moon Shakalaka. Oh, man. This could be it. Oof. So Moon Shakalaka has 5 hit points left. So what he's going to do is, first of all, he's going to disengage, I think. Let me see if he has anything else he can pull out of his sleeve here. Hold person. I don't think that's going to work. Choose a humanoid. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be paralyzed for the duration. At the end of its turn, it can make another save. You know, might as well, because drinking a healing potion isn't going to help much. And trying to flee isn't going to achieve anything. This guy can catch up to him. So I'm going to try to capture him with the spell. So this is a concentration spell. So I'm going to put the concentration effect on. Why is that on him already? Doesn't make sense. Okay. So I'm going to put this effect on Moon Shakalaka. And I'm going to basically cast the spell. Ah, he succeeded. That sucks. And basically, Moon Shakalaka is going to probably die in the next turn. So, crap. Hill Giant. So now it's the Hill Giant's turn. Oh, he missed. So Moon Shakalaka ducked underneath the swing of that great club. Now for the return. The backswing. Oh! critical hit. Rolled a 20. Oh my god, this is it, guys. Moon Shakalaka is a done deal. Yeah, he's he's DOA there. His damage exceeded 20 by 22, and the effective hold expired. So, yep, so long, sucka. So the hill giant prevails. Didn't even take any damage. Took him out in one, actually in about 4 rounds. So for the first round, he rolled a 1 for a death save. So he's actually almost dead. So the giant is roaring and triumphant. He's sitting there bleeding on the ground. I advanced the combat tracker. It rolled a 1. So on his sheet, he's already got 2 in the fails column. So the giant turns back to go back to his lair. So he's leaving him for dead. But he's succeeded on his save. So the giant is going back up to his lair where his treasure and stuff is. And did he save on that grease? As for grease, is probably he has enough time to get through there, but he would have technically he'd have to make another save. So let's see if that actually happens. So I'm going to go back to this grease spell here and go to the cast. You know what? These didn't parse. I don't like that. So all those rolls were bad rolls because they did not parse. That sucks. So all that stuff was wrong. Now if I look at the grease spell, yeah, it has the correct DC on it. I hate it when it does that. So now I'm going to cast it, the grease, see if he slipped in it. Yeah, see, he failed this time. So he's on the ground, and he is now considered prone. So he fell down, and he slipped, and just basically just fell on his ass. So Moon Shakalaka saved, so now he's 2 and 2. Okay, so he's bleeding out, but he's hanging in there. So this guy, he starts his turn in that square, so he has to roll again to see if he can get up and out of that grease. So he's really frustrated right now. He's mad. So let's see if he can save. So he's prone right now. So he stands up, and I'm gonna cast this back on him. He failed again, so he stays prone. So he's slipping and sliding. Yeah, CR5 is pretty tough. So he's slipping and sliding. Let's see if Moon Shakalaka saves. Holy shit, he made it. He's now stable, but no one is there to rescue him. But he's stable. So he's not dead. He's laying there. His natural body has basically healed him. And he's hanging in there. So this guy, the giant, he is going to go ahead and roll. See if he can get out of this grease. This time he succeeds. So he goes back this way. Finally makes it back up to his lair. And then I'll just say this is gone now. So now I'll go back to Moon Shakalaka's turn. So he didn't die. So he just went down unconscious. He's stable, but he's, he ain't going nowhere. So he might become a meal later. I think the hill giant wouldn't mind a little steer or whatever for dinner. So anyhow, that's how that played out. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully the giant does not have to take a crap in the next 4 hours. Yeah, no doubt. So how long do you think I should give that guy to? How long would it take him to revive? A long rest? Beef, that's what's for dinner. Maybe I should take in 1d4 hours. Yeah, let me do that. So I'm gonna roll a d4. So it takes Moon Shakalaka 3 hours to recover, to actually go back to 1 hit point. So what I'm gonna do is roll a d4, and if his roll is greater to or equal than, then he doesn't get hungry in time to eat him. So if the other, this will be a d6. So if it's a 4 and above, he'll basically, or excuse me, a 3 and above, he'll basically not eat Moon Shakalaka. Well, of course, he got so hungry, he runs back down there, clubs him over the head, because he realizes that this guy is still breathing. So let me do that. So he's unconscious and he's stable. The hill giant runs back down and tries to grab his meal. Notice he was breathing. Oh, he rolled a 1. What the hell? So now he throws his club. Surreptitiously, he just throws it and goes, So he screwed that up. So he missed. And I'm going to say that he actually fell because he still got grease on him. So he is now prone. Can you believe that? So he's prone again, which I didn't remove it anyways. So he failed, and he's sitting on his butt. That is so hilarious. And why does the hill giant have mage armor? See, I had this thing all screwed up. So anyways, the hill giant is on his butt now, and he's trying to get up. Moon Shakalaka now has a chance. So he is going to drink his potion of healing. That is going to be his turn. He's going to try to be stealthy about it, like try not to look too obvious, while this guy is pissed off that he ran and he's running over to get his club. So we'll just say he went over that way. And he fell, and he got back up. Now he's going over to get his club. So now this Moon Shakalaka is going to drink his potion of healing. So on the Actions tab, I didn't create a potion of healing, but if you wanted to, you can click on the Edit button, click on the star, and I'm just going to call this, consumables. Potion of healing. I'm going to right click on it, add action, add this heal button, this plus button. Then from there, I will take the 4-sided dice, grab 2 of them, drop them here, put 2 there, and there's my healing potion. So now I'll drag this over. This will be the one that he has. And for usages, what I would do is change this to preparation and change this to once. And that is one-time use. So now when I'm back into the regular combat actions mode, when I use the potion, it'll disappear. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. Heal 7 points, which is better than nothing. And I will click this. It disappears off my character sheet. So that was his turn. So that's that. Now I'm going to roll a perception check on the giant to see if he notices the Moon Shakalaka waking up. So he has his perception of +2. So he rolled an 8. So I don't think that's quite high enough to recognize what Moon Shakalaka has done. So I'm I'm going to remove the prone thing from him. He's up on his feet. He has his weapon. Moon Shakalaka is going to get the hell out of there. So he went and, let's see, what did he do? Okay, so he's going to dash. So he's going here. And he is going here. He's getting the hell out of here. So the giant goes, huh? Thought you were dead, buddy. So he moves back over here. And he moves back over here. He's chasing him now. He's like, get back here. Okay, that was his turn. Now Moon Shakalaka's turn. He's going to go to the portal. He has to make his Arcana check to activate the portal. So, on his sheet, he has Arcana. Now, it's not going to be easy because this thing is ancient. He has some notes that tells him how to activate it. So, I'm going to make an Arcana check. He has to beat a 14 or higher. He has a +5, so he has a pretty good chance. So, I'm going to roll this in the dice tower. Ah, he did not activate it in time. So he doesn't know what the heck to do. So he ends up moving this way. And he's going to attempt to hide behind this rock. So that's his turn. I don't think the giant's going to fall for it. But we'll see. And I think since he hasn't really cast a spell, see, he tried to do that. Yep, that's his turn. So he'll try to cast a spell if he gets another chance. So this guy comes up the stairs. And he's still looking for him. He's like, ugh. You can feel the vibration of the giant's feet stamping up those stairs. So I can't believe how this played out. This guy should be dead already. So this is crazy. All right, so that's his turn. He's looking for some rocks to pick up in case he has to throw them. Okay, Moon Shakalaka has got a chance to get out of here. So he could flee, or he can try to, buy himself some more time. So he has his spell slots still left. He does have his tactical wit, yeah. This time, he should have his mage armor on him. So I will click that. So mage armor. Okay. So that'll go on to him. Actually, not mage armor. Let's go with hold person again. He's going to risk it. So he comes back out and he casts hold person. It's a DC 13 or higher. Ah, he succeeded. So Moon Shakalaka is probably going to die. So he goes, Argh. He comes up there. And this time, he has his club back in his hand. Takes a swing. And he hit. Barely. But he just hit this guy. And now, for the inevitable. Yep. So he died. Moon Shakalaka had a chance to get out of there. And he failed. So that's that. So he failed his first death save. This guy, this time, he ain't playing around. He's going to prepare for dinner. So that's his turn. The Moon Shakalaka saved. And he's still got his back to him. He's eating dinner. Or he's getting ready to make a dinner. Making a fire. Okay, there's 2 for the die column. What? So this guy is now... He's 2 and 2. This is what it did last time. So the giant is still eating or preparing his boiling pot. Moon Shakalaka succeeded. Oh my god. So now I'm going to roll a d4 for Moon Shakalaka. So 4 rounds or 4 hours, he could revive himself. I honestly think that the giant would probably have him cooked by then. So the giant moves over to him. He says, "Why don't you die?" And he swings his club at him because he notices that he's breathing again. Ooh. Oh, he's dead. Finally, he died. So that's the end of the story. The end. Oh wow, that was incredible. You can hide for an hour and use some HD. Yeah, maybe, but I think it would just keep playing out with my luck. I have to end the stream at some point, but it could have happened. I think he could have just, kept hanging in there. So he became the meal of the hill giant. Oh well. Well, that should be the end of the stream. I just was doing that to help people learn how to use Fantasy Grounds, how to build a character, and how to run a little quick combat. Any questions or comments? Come on over to Fantasy Grounds College. We train people to use Fantasy Grounds, meaning DMing or character building. Even sometimes we have like role playing classes or map makers will come over and help us out. So come on over and check us out. If you're catching this later on YouTube, it'll be available if you need to. Anyhow, you guys have a happy new year, happy holidays, and I'll see you around in the community if you come on over to Fantasy Grounds College. The link to our website is right in the bottom of the screen here, and it'll take you to our webpage. And right on the front of the webpage is our Discord join code. So if you guys want to join our community and learn how to play, or you learned how to use the software, maybe you went out and bought a bunch of stuff for the winter sales on Steam or on the Fantasy Grounds store. So again, thanks a lot. Have a good day and happy gaming, folks.